Hello everybody and welcome back to Crusader Kings, where last episode we put our brother on the throne of the Viceroyalty of Rum. So that's, great and all, but I was just looking around the Byzantine Empire here, trying to find other kingdom level titles, and I think there's only two. At this point, I believe that we've got the Capitanate of Hellas here, and I think we've got the Viceroyalty of Serbia. I think that's it. I don't know of any others that are within the Byzantine Empire and kingdom level at this point. We can actually go in here and look at the, let's see, sort by rank. Okay, so this guy is, that's Hellas. This is Serbia. This is Rum. And then we have an ecumenical patriarch. And then we have us. So yeah, that's it. So we should probably start scheming against Hellas then. So in that case, let's look at what we've got here. 500, that's pretty significant. What about Serbia? This is actually a little simpler. So if we were to put, say, our half-brother here, and we were to do a medium contribution for right now, that puts him in at 60. Okay. So that seems interesting, for sure. Oh, improved pastures in Jerusalem? Sure. Sounds great. So that's absolutely wonderful. Now, I would like to reduce our stress level. We're not doing so well. This wound has never healed. Hopefully it eventually will. Can we seek treatment, actually? We don't have a physician right now, but we could put our aunt in there. She has good aptitude. And can we seek treatment now? No, maybe that'll automatically happen. So this ransom is fine. We will definitely accept that. And we want to invest more money here, of course. Now, we don't want to die at this point. We don't have a lot of influence, and we're investing that influence out over in Serbia right now. So that's understood. We need to bump this up by enough to get to first place, which would be 877 influence. That's a lot of influence. No doubt about it. Also, I was looking at this guy and looking at the request househead here, or request as househead, and there's definitely some interesting options here. He would accept this. I don't think we're very interested in it right now. So that seems good. We're on our way back to Jerusalem, of course, and there we have arrived. Excellent. So this ransom is acceptable. And here in Jerusalem, I want to upgrade our barracks. There we go. So that will get us additional influence upgrading. Our liege is converting acre. That is rude. But whatever. I guess it's fine. So Jerusalem is slowly increasing its control level. There's a faction targeting the emperor, which is, not necessarily ideal. We do need to reduce some stress levels. No doubt about that. Do we lose stress from pardoning or imprisoning? No, we do not. Okay. We are flagellant, but we could flagellate, but we would gain severely injured at that point. So we probably don't want to do that. There's a Holy Order lease. So there is. We should do this. Okay, so that looks good. We can do a governorship confirmation to gain some additional influence, but we would gain stress from that. We don't want to do that. We do not want to do that. So we may want to put some money into a stress relief activity. Like, for example, a feast. We may want to do this, actually. Let's go ahead and plan this feast. We're going to do a regular feast. We're not going to do a legendary or a murder feast. Neither of these are going to happen. This is just a regular feast here in Jerusalem, and we are looking to do recreation here. So we could bring an honorary guest here, and who do we want to honor? I'm wondering about the current leader of Serbia. So this is sorted by rank right now. So these are all Duke level. Yeah, to be honest, none of these are relevant to us. We might not want to have an honorary guest. We're not going to need anything here because we're not going to travel. But we can do culinary art pieces if we care about the prestige. Number of courses, we can bump that up. So, and then the wine, of course, would be a generous wine selection for a significant amount of influence per attendee. So this is overall going to cost 748, and we have enough to do that right now. So we might as well get started on it. We have a lovely time ahead of us. Excellent. There we go. So this is all looking fantastic at this point, right? We just finished our conscription centers in Jerusalem, which is going to net us some influence. And my main question right now is this feast going to get us any influence? That's an interesting question, actually. There's still 8 months until this feast begins, so hopefully our wound will have healed by then, but this guy wants to enter an alliance with us. I'm going to decline that. Okay. So we would like to build up a lot of influence at this time. A good way to do that is building, but we're approaching what we can get done with our buildings for the moment. In fact, kind of for the whole game. We're getting close on that. We're not quite there, but buildings are getting expensive. We could build in locations like this, and that's a thing. Ooh. Actually, gaining the trait Contrite is probably not terrible here. Yeah, so we'll do that. We don't want to become severely injured at this time. So we need a new marshal. That'll be this guy. And up here in Damascus, let's go ahead and upgrade our militia camp for the time being. Okay, so that did drop our stress a little bit. A little bit. But that's the primary goal behind this feast, is dropping our stress level. So that'll be fine. The feast is continuing to be weighted on activity guests. 900 gold for an artifact? No thanks. So 4 months until this feast begins. Okay, so we're going to continue to work on upgrades where possible. We apparently have a plague going on over here. It's not showing up down here, so it's not a super dangerous one. But let's see here. Where are those again? They're in here somewhere, if I remember correctly. Okay. I don't actually know, but we can see that here in Jerusalem, there is... Well, we're prone to plague, but we know that there's definitely plague down over here. This is this pox. Okay, here it is. It's under this plagues category. We should be on control plagues. That's definitely a thing that we should do right now. So that seems fine for the moment. We'll boost up our plague resistance, and that looks fine. So it's not actually currently in Jerusalem, so that looks good. Even so, it shouldn't be a terrible plague. Smallpox? In one of our prisoners? That's not great. So over here in Nablus, we can absolutely build a workshop, and that'll boost up our income. That also, we got a mathematician hall finished up. That's going to net us an additional 40 influence. So that looks great. We do need to build up our influence, and here's our feast beginning. Welcome, friends. Excellent. Disaster has struck, and we'll bring out our finer wines. That's going to gain us 30 influence here, and not going to cost us anything. So that's absolutely wonderful. Gaining influence is great. So losing 140 stress, that was solid. No feast is complete without a prank. So we're going to have some raucous entertainment here. That's absolutely fine. And a medium boost to health, too. So that's good. We're now feeling fine, and our wound has finally healed. Okay, we just inherited Acre, and we don't want to hold this, of course. So let's grant this right on out. So this is Tyre as well. We don't want to hold that either. Let's just grant this. There we go. Beautiful. So over here in Tiberias, we could upgrade, or we could upgrade in Jerusalem, and we're going to upgrade our farms and fields in Jerusalem. That looks great. Losing an additional 14 stress. That's perfect. We're now down to stress level of 0, and the feast is over. We gained 585 influence. Oh my. So that's good to know. That's kind of huge. That's not kind of huge. That's really huge. I kind of thought that that might be the case. Our brother is doing things. Sure, whatever. Okay, for the moment, I'm not terribly concerned about that. What I want to do right now is I want to continue to focus over on Serbia for a little bit here. So, if we wanted to influence this candidacy, this would be fine, actually. But we know we're going to need a lot more influence to force this guy to step down. So this would be 900 influence, and he would only have a 26% chance. Interesting. Is our liege not actually having an effect on this one? I'm not sure what the difference is then. So our liege is not having an effect here. We could work on this instead. And I don't hate that. Let's get it started, and let's see who's willing to join. So in terms of alibis, not much, although our brother would. So that's neat. Sure. That's only 16%. So that's actually kind of terrible. So in terms of a footpad, 34 days is not awful. In terms of an infiltrator, let's see here. So we'd like to get somebody, 18 days, sure, it'll work for now. 89-day phases is pretty significant, no doubt about that. 27, and then we could get somebody who's a fair amount better than this, like not Esther. We would probably end up going for like Eusebia here, and that would do the trick. We can work through this. It's going to take a long time to get there, to get anywhere with this, and that's understood. We can scheme for it, but it may or may not come to pass, right? So that is absolutely fine. Let's go ahead and grant out a new marshal here. There we go. And in Jaffa, I'd like to get a hospital upgrade going. Perfect. So we're going to continue to work up our influence, and I'm now wondering if a tournament would also give us a significant amount of influence. That's a definite maybe. I kind of want to try it. So this is going to be expensive, right? We do this here in Jerusalem, and our contests would be fairly basic. So we can do an archery contest, we can do a recital contest, and then we can do... I mean, our aptitude in a lot of these are really, really bad, right? But we're not necessarily looking to win these. That would be the way that we'd farm prestige, but we don't really need prestige here. So we could do wrestling, duel, and then horse race. Our aptitude is not great in any of these. And that's understood. So our intent could be recreation, triumph, recruit, murder, seduce, or befriend. And we could go with triumph, but that wouldn't really be our goal. Not really. Accommodations would be maximized. So what would the total cost of this be? 43.20. That's pretty expensive. And yeah, I'm going to discard that. I just wanted to see how much that was going to cost. So that's understood. We could also go on a hunt. I don't think that's really what we want to do. Our emperor declared war on this guy. Okay, sure. There's some new nobility as well. We just finished up grain silos. So that's, you know, neat. And we just got noblesse oblige. So what does that do again? We'll have to go in here, I guess. That is this one. Fellow vassal opinion +5. Accolade glory gain +10%. Courtly and pariacal vassal opinions +5. Honestly, I don't care. That's fine. Whatever. We're working on rightful ownership with our exposure right now, and then plate armor is our current cultural fascination. We're going to go for bombards after that. Have we gotten everything in here? Actually, no. Both of these would be decent to get. I assume we got everything in the early medieval era. Yeah. We don't have everything in the tribal era, which is just hilarious to me. We still don't have war camels. We're about 24 years away from it. That's really quite funny. Honestly, it's fine. So we'll continue to work away here. We see that the scheme is progressing. It's gonna take a while, for sure. So if we wanted to bring in Eusebia here, we'd want to leverage scheme advantages for sure. We just finished more mathematicians' halls, and that's excellent. I'd like to put more money into this. We're about to get a lifestyle focus here. Okay. So we could grab, like, Golden Aplomb or Fearful Troops. I think we'll probably go Fearful Troops. We also just inherited this, which we don't want to hold. We just granted this out. Okay. I think he died to the plague. It's fine. So that's absolutely okay for the moment. Now, we're over in Jaffa. We're working on that control level. It's slow going. In Jerusalem, we're at 89. In Gaza, we're at 100. In Tiberias, 80, but that is increasing. 100, 100, and 100. Okay. So our liege passed limited border policy. For the moment, that doesn't actually matter to us. So that seems fine for right now. Our antiquarian is dead. Was she in our scheme here? No. Okay. So the phase duration on this is 73. It's not great, but it's also not literally the worst. We just inherited this magistracy here, and that's fine. Let's grant this out. We don't want to hold that. That's okay. And yes, 50 gold. Looks good. So we've got 2,410 gold at this moment, and that's understood. I would like to get more constructions going here. So I think building a vast crop field is good. Let's definitely get that underway. And I'm wondering what's going on up here in Rum. So this is our brother here. His primary heir is our half-brother, so that would remain within our family. I would prefer this to be our player heir and son. So we can influence his candidacy here to put our son here in this. This would be ideal. So we're going to do that. There we go. Now I want to check in on Serbia. What's going on over here? Okay, so this is our half-brother over this way. So if we influenced his candidacy for the... Hang on, let's do it from here. Yeah, this is for the Viceroyalty of Serbia. If we wanted to do this, this would cost us 1130, but it would put him in the lead. Just barely. I think we're going to hold off on that for now. Yeah, let's hold off on that for just a little bit here. Our scheme has been discovered. Well, that's not ideal. We had a breach there. Now, our alibi, this is only 20 secrecy, right? Minus 20% from being a king, minus 10% from our intrigue. It's not ideal. We knew that this likely would not end up being a thing. I'm just going to abandon that scheme for now. Okay, so that seems okay. Over here in Tiberias, let's go ahead and build a blacksmith. We just inherited this magistracy, which is not terribly surprising. And hopefully some money along with it. I would very much like to run a grand tournament, but that's going to be a... And I feel like we're better off putting that money into buildings at this moment. Maybe that's not the case, though. It depends on how much influence we'd end up getting from it, and that's an unknown. So we would kind of just have to run it and find out. We would need like 4,000 gold, which is theoretically doable. How long before we can extort subjects? 2 years is the answer. Okay. So that's good to know. And at this point, we're doing pretty well on our influence, so that looks okay. I'm just banking up our influence for right now. We're going to need it eventually, but right now is not a huge concern there. So looking in here, yeah, this is a lot. Again with another inheritance from this area. Yeah, these guys just keep dying to the plague. Okay. That's what you get for not building hospitals. And there's another one. Okay, we'll put in this person as our marshal. And where do we inherit this? This is, up here. Okay, so we'll grant this out. We don't want to hold this ourselves. There we go. And I think we should just do the tournament, to be honest. So we're at 2520 at this point for our current finances. I'd definitely like to run that. We could go up and ask this guy for gold. He'll pay us 515 gold. So let's do that. That'll bring us up to about 3,000 gold. And yep, there he goes. Ah, we have been called to become regent again. Okay. So we're the regent once more. That's understood. And we can immediately swing the scales. We could leverage gold, prestige, or influence. I'm going to do prestige here. So we're just going to immediately swing the scales on up. That looks good. The liege has entered an entrenched regency. Yes. I don't know why he asked us to do that, to be honest. But okay. So I do want to do a grand tournament, but we could actually... I think we don't have enough right now to embezzle from our liege, do we? Let's see. Well, we do. 60% of being undetected. It's not great, actually. I think we'll just wait. We'll be patient here. I don't want to steal this gold right now. I don't mind being the regent, as long as we're not going to get imprisoned and have all of our schemes go away, but we're not scheming right now, so that's not that big of a deal. So grain silos being constructed is, of course, fantastic, and I do want to run this grand tournament. So let's plan this. This will be here in Jerusalem, and our aptitude is just terrible for all of these, right? And we just spent a bunch of money. So that's understood. We can do a horse race. We can do wrestling. Publicly, we support the new emperor. So there's a new emperor, and that's not necessarily amazing. The last emperor really liked us. And, you know, that's definitely a good thing. So we don't need to have these travel costs. We can have Hoshea be our champion, and then we can bump these on up. So the cost here would be 4320. Okay. We still don't quite have enough money there. Our liege is converting Acre. We should absolutely be swaying our liege. So we'll work on that. He's not necessarily happy with the regency situation, but for the moment... Mandate is to fill coffers? Okay. We'll see about doing that. So the coffers specifically are our coffers, but even so... I'm sure it'll be fine. What happened here? Interesting. We used to hold this. Our liege must have granted this to someone other than us. So this we should boundary dispute, but our governorship must border their province. What do you mean it doesn't? We surround their province on multiple sides. That's questionable. Okay. We can put ourselves in here and just do a medium contribution here. Cannot be granted additional titles of their highest held tier. I beg to differ, but okay. Interesting. I'm not sure what's going on with that one. We need to get a kingdom title. That's what this boils down to. So the Viceroyalty of Rum is where that's coming from. That's absolutely something that we have irons in the fire on that, right? That's a thing that is currently happening. But I do want to get enough money here to host the grand tournament. We're incredibly close at this juncture. So let's just go ahead and plan this grand tournament. I'm going to keep the game ticking while we're doing this. So we're going to do, let's see. We wanted wrestling and duel, and then horse race. We have some amount of aptitude for some of this, but it's not fantastic. So we don't need to do these. We can have our son be our champion. There we go. And bump this right on up, and we'll start this grand tournament. Okay, there we go. So that's a lot of money, but it is time to put a cut in here, so I'm going to go ahead and do that. And next episode, we will see if we can do anything here. We're not really trying to win this. What we're trying to do is get influence out of it, is the idea. You can leave your offerings to the engagement gods in the form of likes, comments, subscribes, and bell ringings, and a very special thank you to all of the channel members for making this video possible, including ALS Gamer, Dark Horse, Ethan Feldman, Upper Cumberland Gamers, Nick Smarty, Dimitri H, Punching the Microphone, The Lounge STL, and all the rest. And of course, you. Thank you for watching. If you'd like to support the channel, you can click the join button down below the video, and as always, I will see you all next time.